They are pop-punk dynamos and savvy, business-minded rockers. They're Canada's Boys Next Door and international rock heroes. They are a voice for a generation and pioneers of rock star fan relations. They have been celebrated and adored, criticized and ridiculed.
Simple Plan is ruining punk music.
But through it all, have managed to maintain a sharp focus on their music. So the question is, how did these musically driven 20-somethings go from suburban French-Canadian pop punkers to international rock superheroes? And how did they do it in the face of such stiff competition?
I'd do anything, just go do it my own.
Simple Plan was born to be.
No matter how many records you sell or how big the shows are getting, you're still the same 5 guys from Montreal.
My mother always wanted me to be a lawyer,
a doctor, an architect like my father.
My dad insisted on medical school.
I was always expected to be a part of the family business.
a bank manager.
But I was born to be.
Simple Plan's rise to pop-punk supremacy began in 4 very different neighborhoods in and around the island of Montreal, Quebec.
The first thing to say is like we're all really best friends and like we all grew up together, and like I think that makes a big difference compared to other bands who just kind of come together just, you know, based on like an ad in the newspaper.
Growing up in French-speaking households, each of the 5 future members of Simple Plan had their own, very different musical trajectories.
Okay, enough of this shit.
But for all intents and purposes, the true nexus of the band originated here at Beaubois High School in Pierrefonds, Quebec, a suburb of Montreal.
I met him first day of high school, grade 7, and I said, man, that guy's ugly. He should be a drummer.
There you go, should be in the band.
So a year later, our French teacher told us, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys should, like, start a band. We're like, that's a good idea.
I have no idea to this day why you said that to us.
Taking their teacher's advice, Pierre Bouvier and Chuck Como formed a band called Roach. Although their musical fare was limited to mostly Green Day covers, the two had unknowingly laid the groundwork for a future filled with creative prosperity.
Hey, what's up? I used to play guitar, and so Chuck bought a drum for Christmas, and we had a bass player, and we started playing our first band. We were 13 years old, and 2 years later, we wrote our first record.
But Roach didn't last long. Within a few years, the boys' musical sensibilities had shifted to original material. Roach changed their name to Reset and began forging an altogether new musical path. Anxious to make headway as an original offering, Reset set to work recording their debut EP.
It's really important for us, like, that every kid can go to the show and have a good time.
Laying down tracks in an improvised basement studio, Chuck and Pierre, along with friends Phil and JS, began to iron out a musical aesthetic of their own. In 1998, the band released their first original outing, a 12-track album called No Worries. With Chuck acting as the band's makeshift manager, Reset began to receive opening slots for punk heavyweights like Pennywise, NoFX, and Face to Face. But even with all of the introductory success, Pierre and Chuck's musical union was growing strained.
Are you deaf? Leave!
Personality conflicts and battles over the direction of the band were taking their toll.
I'm a little smarter than him, but not that smart.
You're like a dick.
And before Reset could release their second album, Chuck had officially left the band to pursue a law degree at McGill University. The bitter breakup was a sharp blow to the childhood friends who had been such a large part of each other's musical evolutions.
As far as me and Pierre, like, we went through the worst, like, fights that we know not to go there again. Like, we don't want that.
With Pierre working on Reset's second album, No Limits, Chuck got busy launching a musical destiny of his own. Taking time out of his hectic study regimen, Como formed a band with longtime Collège Beaubois friends, Jeff Stinko and Sébastien Lefebvre. But while Chuck was amping up his rock pursuits, Pierre was suffering a major setback. Unhappy with his role in Reset and experiencing personality conflicts with band members, Pierre decided to follow in Chuck's footsteps and voluntarily left the band. But fate would once again reunite the two former friends. After a chance meeting at a Sugar Ray concert, Chuck invited Pierre to come check out his new band.
I left the band and I wasn't playing any band at all, and I was just like, I've got no band, and Chuck was...
Took him off the street.
Yeah, he was like, pick me up. He was like, I'll feed you if you play my band.
Pierre attended a jam and was instantly overwhelmed by their passion and free-spiritedness.
It all felt right the first time we played. Like, it felt like that's where we belong, you know? It's like the first time we practiced, like, we sucked, we were awful, but it was still kind of like, wow, yeah, cool.
It was a perfect fit with his musical sensibilities and the right combination of creativity and business-mindedness.
Kind of like the first time you have sex, it's like, oh, that's where it's supposed to go.
But one piece of the puzzle was still missing.
What's your problem?
Looking to fill out the rhythm section, the four rockers invited Pierre's replacement in Reset, David Desrosiers, to join the band. And just like that, Simple Plan was born.
You want the best, you demand the best, you deserve the best. Those guys weren't available tonight, so Simple Plan!
Chuck once again took the reins as the band's manager and began aggressively promoting Simple Plan to the industry.
Basically, this is Chuck's band. He does everything. He, writes all the songs. He dresses us. He pick that, he pick that. Chuck does everything. Like, we're just a puppets, basically.
Wasting no time and with only a few shows under their belt, Chuck began calling major label scouts from all over North America, hyping them on his hot new band.
I bought the Yellow Pages of Rock, which is like a guide of everybody who works in the business with their phone numbers and their addresses. I started calling people and say, hey, I manage this band Simple Plan in Montreal, and they're really, really great.
It was during this phase of intense self-promotion that the band became aware of Lava Records A&R Vice President Andy Karp. Karp was planning a Montreal visit to check out another local band called Rubberman. Looking to piggyback on Rubberman's potential big break, Simple Plan booked a show of their own for the same night and invited Karp to attend.
The guy that signed us at Lava Atlantic, I talked to him on the phone the first day I sent him he actually picked up.
It's one of the only guys who actually called back.
And actually listened to it. He's like, I was shocked on how good it was, and I really want to see you guys live.
Karp was duly impressed and informed the band that he would be eager to hear more material.
The band's great, though. They're great guys. If you get a chance to meet them, you definitely should.
It was an excellent opportunity for the young band and the perfect motivation to solidify their creative offerings. When we come back, Simple Plan power their way to the forefront. The suburban Quebecers explode onto the world stage and take no prisoners. Watch as Simple Plan finds fame,
I'm not loaded. I drive a jet.
passion,
This is what it feels like to make out with me.
and critical damnation
We're like the most hated band in punk.
as Born to Be continues. Simple Plan had been gunning hard for a major record deal, and it was about to pay off. After recording some impressive demos, The A&R chiefs at Lava Records, a subdivision of the powerful Warner Brothers company, unanimously agreed that Simple Plan should be their next major signing.
Here's the hustler.
It was the beginning of a new era and the start of a whirlwind rise to the top of the pop charts. In 2002, Simple Plan released No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls. The album's pop-punk melodies clashed with its emotional, darker-edged lyrics, chronicling teenage angst on songs like I'm Just a Kid, Addicted, and Perfect.
Sorry, I can't be perfect.
While guest appearances by Mark Hoppus of Blink-182 and Joe Madden of Good Charlotte gave the band some added commercial clout. Upon initial release, sales of the album were less than spectacular.
The official head count is about 12 people.
First week the record came out, we didn't sell anything. We couldn't even find it in stores.
A band called Simple Plan?
We might not have it.
We had to go and ask the clerk to go in the back store to figure out where a record was.
Doesn't look too good, eh?
Not to be deterred, the band slowly built up momentum with a relentless, globe-trotting touring schedule and a high-profile position on the band's Warped Tour, setting in motion a new wave of pop-punk domination. The band was developing a devoted legion of hardcore fans, not just through their music, but also by making themselves accessible to the masses, diligently signing autographs after every show, and never turning down an interview request.
They rock and their music rocks, and they rock and they're hot. Oh my God.
After 6 years, I still get generally impressed and happy when somebody comes up and be like, hey, I like your band.
I just have to say I love you guys, and your album's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's never annoying.
In a lot of cases, I think our fans are pretty happy when they meet us. Except when they meet David, but it scares them away.
I do anything, just know you in my arms.
The Montreal Rockers had begun their swift ascent to the top of the charts. But what came next was a series of decisions that would help define not only their music, but also the nature of their fan base for years to come. In 2003, Simple Plan made the unconventional decision to tour as Avril Lavigne's opening act. It was a decision fraught with downsides, but for the headstrong Montreal five-piece, something they knew they wanted to do. Another bold decision came later that same year, when the boys agreed to appear in the critically panned Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie, New York Minute. The drive to align themselves with teen pop icons ignited a firestorm of critical backlash.
Lots of people hate the band, hate the music, hate us. They don't even know us, but they hate us.
I'm sorry, I can't be perfect.
It's just music, you know what I mean? It's like, why are you getting so upset about this? Some people like actually throw shit on stage. Good shot.
Empty plastic bottles are a gift. Now, if plastic bottles filled with rocks are a different story.
Music writers dismissed them entirely, and punk fans took great exception to their brand of fusion punk pop.
Simple Plan is ruining punk music.
We make music that we like, and hopefully kids like it. And that's all we care about. And hopefully in 5-10 years, we're still relevant to those, and they still care about their band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Forgive us for not being the heaviest band on earth, but we didn't feel like it.
But with the fallout came increased exposure and a new level of rock and roll stardom.
Why do you love their music? Because it's just really, like, I can relate to it. They're so fun. All of them are hot. I love it so much. Oh my God.
What do I want to say here? As a theme.
I punch in, I'm still sleeping, watch the clock, but it's not moving.
Simple Plan's workhorse approach and commitment to building a solid relationship with their fans had paid off in ways they could never have imagined.
Yeah.
flying off the shelves. Nominations and awards were coming from all directions, and their live shows were growing in both size and frenzy.
People that hate our band, they will never, hate me enough to make me stop it. I love what I do so much, and they will never stop me from doing it. No matter how loud they scream, I will scream louder, and I will always be there for people who love us.
And the winner for the People's Choice.
The winner, People's Choice. The winner for Best Canadian Group is
Simple Plan!
Simple Plan! Responding to a strong fan desire for a more comprehensive Simple Plan offering, the band released a DVD entitled A Big Package for You.
Is it beautiful or
It's
what?
very complete.
In addition to a live performance, the DVD also included a massive amalgam of juicy, behind-the-scenes nuggets and an impressive amount of fan-friendly bonus features.
I think I'm ready for sound check. Let's go, guys!
I don't know what the heck is going on, but this is kind of scary, so I'm leaving.
This is what it feels like to make out with me.
It was a dizzying rise to success.
Hello, we're in Tokyo, Japan.
We're in Australia. We are in Paris, France.
But Simple Plan appeared to be taking it in stride. Never changing their playful, lighthearted, and humorous approach to each other and the business. As they finished touring to promote their debut outing, it was becoming very obvious that Simple Plan was a band committed to building an unbreakable bond with their fan base. And, as a part of that relationship, didn't want to disappoint with what came next. When we come back, Simple Plan reinvent and revolutionize. The international pop-punk wonders diversify and elevate their offering. Watch as Simple Plan goes for gold and flirt with the legendary sophomore curse. When Born to Be continues. Simple Plan had exploded onto the world stage with their debut CD, No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls, and had taken a bold approach to building their pop-punk brand identity. They had absorbed some serious hits, but in the process had discovered their core value of making music that fostered an emotional connection with their ever-expanding fan base.
I noticed there was a few girls here tonight.
Ready to prove themselves as lasting rock icons, Simple Plan's songwriting duo Pierre Bouvier and Chuck Como traveled to Vancouver to write their highly anticipated sophomore album.
Can we say it again? Can we reuse that line from the verse? What?
Simple Plan entered the studio with famed producer Bob Rock and vowed not to limit themselves to the traditional rules associated with the punk genre. In 2004, Simple Plan tested themselves against the sophomore curse with the release of Still Not Getting Any.
Welcome to my life.
The new direction paid off with extraordinary sales numbers. Songs like Welcome to My Life, Shut Up, and Untitled became huge rock radio hits and proved that Simple Plan weren't just a passing fancy. And while the members of the band were fast becoming international superstars, they did their best to avoid traditional rock star trappings.
I'm not loaded. I drive a Jetta.
No matter how many records you sell or how big the shows are getting, you're still the same 5 guys from Montreal who, all grew up together, all good friends.
I can be a hero, baby.
So why would you become a jackass?
And I gotta tell you something. You guys are the most beautiful crowd I've seen in my whole goddamn life.
Nobody in the band gets like a big head because I don't think anybody thinks it's because of them that we're doing well.
I never asked the other guys, but Sebastian, do you think it's because of you?
No.
Who said that because you're successful you have to become a dick?
Yeah.
The overwhelming success didn't just translate into album sales. It also yielded an array of creative and business opportunities. Pierre parlayed his fun-loving persona into a hosting gig on a prank-based reality show in the U.S. Jeff Stinko took on management and production duties for a girl-dominated retro wave group from Vancouver called the No No Spots. And the ultimate coup de grace came when legendary rock band Motley Crue covered their unreleased song, If I Die Tomorrow.
Bob Rock produced our record. He also produced their new record, so he played them our demo, and they liked it, so they took it, made a couple of changes, and it's a Motley Crue song.
The band also found success with another business venture, a clothing line called Role Model. Created by Chuck Pierre and longtime friend of the band Patrick Cunningham years earlier while they were still searching for a record deal.
We first started Role Model when the band first started. There was we didn't have a record yet, we didn't have anything going on. We just thought it would be fun to be able to do it.
I think we're ambitious people and we're driven and we love to do stuff. It's one more way to use your brain and your imagination to build something.
Simple Plan's tireless work ethic has paid its dividends. Circumnavigating the globe countless times, the band has throngs of fans in nearly every country on the planet.
It really sucks. You get to travel and meet people and learn about new cultures and get smarter.
While many bands see touring as a chore, Simple Plan sees it as a blessing and an opportunity.
I remember sitting at home, watching them, and I was dying to do that.
With their career moving at warp speed, the ever-compassionate Simple Plan used the latter half of 2005 to make a concerted effort to help those in need.
Is everybody going crazy?
An appearance at the Worldwide Live 8 concert, a fundraiser for the Chum Christmas Wish, and the launch of the Simple Plan Foundation all showcase the band's increased onus on effecting a positive change in the world.
I guess things are not how they used to be. There's no more normal families.
So as they progress into their third studio record, the boys in Simple Plan appear poised to continue their assault on contemporary pop culture and look eager to keep on fostering a strong relationship with their fans.
Is everybody going crazy?
They have toured all 6 inhabited continents, sold millions of records, made scores of friends, fought critical backlash, and most importantly, developed a mutual respect for one another and a united passion for music.
We're called Simple Plan, and we are out of here!
Simple Plan was born to be.
Thank you all for being so cool to us.
Hey, what's up? We're going to Jamaica right now, and I managed to steal Chuck's bag. This is where he keeps all the important stuff: passports, computer, paperwork, everything. And it's so nice. I don't want it to get wrecked and everything, so we're gonna wrap it for him. He's gonna be so pissed off.
Make sure it's really tightly wrapped.
Yeah.
It's a very important bag.
How you doing?
How you feeling?
A lot of running.
Anything in my phone? Anything in my
We gotta go.
Oh, really?
He's really well known for those.
You're so proud of yourself, huh? Patrick, I'm so